This game recap is brought to you by Manscaped's Foot Duster Foot Deodorant. Say goodbye to stinky foot funk with this essential deodorant spray. Head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SACCITY for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The Foot Duster Foot Deodorant by Manscaped. The best protection any place below the waist.
And let's just get into it. Let's just get right into it. The Browns last night defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers 29-17. It was actually 23-17 until a wild play to end the game made it 29-17. My buddy at work literally lost his parlay bet because of that last score. I, in fantasy, got an extra few points from the Browns defense. That made it very nice for me. But enough about that. Enough about personal matters. The Browns took down the Steelers 29-17. This game was full and dominated by Nick Chubb, who had a very good game. He was basically, and I'll just say right now, he was my player of the game. His rushing totals, 23 carries, 113 yards, a tutty. Another big day for fantasy production for Nick Chubb. He has dominated. And arguably is one of the best backs, if not the best back in 2022 so far. Aaron, what were your takeaways from that game last night?
Yeah, we often talk about, especially Nick Chubb. You mentioned player of the game. We talk about fantasy, and Nick Chubb doesn't always live up to the billing when it comes to fantasy because of the work out of the passing game. But there is no argument. Nick Chubb is one of the best running backs in all of football, if not the best. Pure runner standpoint. I mentioned this a few years ago when carries 20 to 25 carries and actually go get yardage and do that. I think he's right up there. So another big day for him. Cleveland is built on that run game. Amari Cooper stepped up big time, but you have to give a shout out to Jacoby Brissett here for me. He plays within himself. It's like exactly what he always does, right? He does the same thing week after week. He's not going to kill you, but he's not going to go out there and wow you either. And he does that. He was on time with his throws. He got the ball into his playmakers' hands. David Njoku had a big night. And Cleveland should be 3-0. Can we talk about that? This team easily could be 3-0 with Deshaun Watson not playing. And this is why I said I think they could stay afloat until Deshaun Watson gets there. I think this team can stay afloat. They're that talented, and they had another good showing last night, and good for them. Good for them.
Yeah, no, it's been, we talked about it all off season long. It was about what the predictions were for this team before Deshaun Watson. If they could stay around 500 until he gets back, this team has a really good chance to do something special in the second half of the season when Deshaun Watson comes back. And it looks like that's exactly what they wanted from Jacoby Brissett, someone who's not going to lose them the game, and someone not necessarily who's going to win you the game, but someone who's not going to turn the ball over, who's going to be efficient in the passing game and just be able to make it happen. Jacoby Brissett finished 21 of 31, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the big number right there, 0 turnovers in this game. That's huge. That's exactly what the Browns needed. On the flip side of things, the Pittsburgh Steelers here lose this game, and it's another meh performance from Mitch Trubisky. 20 completions, 20 of 32, 207, no touchdowns. Or no passing touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown. After the game, Mike Tomlin was saying that he is not interested in talking about the quarterback position and whether or not Kenny Pickett will be coming in soon. But Aaron, I think we have to talk about it. Are we starting to approach the Kenny Pickett should be coming in time? The Steelers now 1-2. Mitch Trubisky hasn't done a whole lot.
No, okay. I'm going to let you finish the question. Mitch Trubisky didn't play bad. And this is what we talked about. Mitch Trubisky didn't play bad. First of all, there were a couple of drops by receivers. Are they getting old? Where is Chase Claypool and George Pickens? And I'm sorry, I know George Pickens had a great catch. But why is Deontay Johnson the only one that's actually doing anything from a production standpoint? Why aren't those other guys open, making plays? This is, to me, this is a problem that's bigger than Mitch Trubisky. I looked at Mitch Trubisky and I'm like, he played well, especially early in that game. And then in the second half, I don't know what happened to that offense. I don't know if it was a Matt Canada issue in the play calling, but they got really stagnant when that first half they were actually moving the football and making plays. So I don't think this is a Mitch Trubisky issue. I think number one, their offensive line is still not great, although they did play better yesterday. But Mitch Trubisky played fine. Like I don't think Kenny Pickett comes in and is some dynamic quarterback that we're looking at that's going to go carry you. So you want Mitch Trubisky to be a game manager. And I think that's exactly what Mitch Trubisky was. But somebody has to go and make a play. You're still averaging less than 4 yards a carry on the ground with Najee Harris. Why isn't Jaylen Warren touching the ball more if he's that explosive? And we saw the explosiveness that he did bring to the table early in the game, and they stopped giving him the ball. And I get it, but maybe you do get him a little bit more involved because you lack that explosiveness on the outside. I'm sorry, but with 8 catches for Deontay and your next receiver has 3 in Chase Claypool and George Pickens, they need to find a way to get those guys involved more, and they just didn't do it. And then defensively, they let Jacoby Brissett have his way. But for what you said, we talked about Jacoby Brissett in the same game having a good game. He ideally did the same thing that Mitch Trubisky did. The only difference was Mitch Trubisky didn't throw a touchdown. He ran a touchdown in, and then nobody else could get in the end zone, or they couldn't find any way to get in the end zone late. So they had very similar style games. I think Jacoby Brissett got more help. I think Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb in the running game allowed Jacoby Brissett to have easier throws to wide open guys, whereas Pittsburgh's running game is not a threat. And because it's not a threat, the defense doesn't have to worry about it. So they don't bite on play action. They don't have to worry about coming up and adding extra people in the box. And I think that's the difference in the game.
So this isn't a Mitch Trubisky problem. This is a team problem. This is a team offense problem with maybe play calling and also receivers not being impactful and getting open enough aside from a Deontay Johnson. I don't know how to transition this. I don't know how to segue this with the.
Before you go, there's 3 games now that Pittsburgh has played. They've scored 20 points, 14 points, and 17 points. It's not going to cut it in today's NFL. That's all I'm going to say. Whether you want to blame that on Mitch Trubisky, play calling, running game, receivers, I don't care.
Do you think with the question I guess I have to ask now, though, is do you think with Kenny Pickett, if they turn it over to him, what he's supposed to be there for and what we expect from him and what we've seen from him in the past, he could bring maybe a different dynamic to this offense that maybe they're missing and maybe a little bit of a, I guess.
It's funny you say that, but I'm going to be honest, him and Mitch Trubisky are like the same quarterback to me, the style of play. They both are mobile. They both don't have great arms. I don't know what he brings immediately. Now, can he develop better than a Mitch Trubisky? Sure. Maybe he is that future franchise guy. But this year, right now, no, I think he comes in, he runs for his life like Mitch Trubisky. He makes some plays, not able to make other plays, inaccurate, bad decisions because he's a rookie. And then we're in the same situation. So I'm not saying they can't make the switch. I'm just saying I think it's bigger than Mitch Trubisky.
That's fair. I understand. And if it does happen, this is what the scene is going to be if Mitch Trubisky hands it over to Kenny Baby
Passing
Hands
the torch.
Pickett. Yep, passing the torch right here if that ends up happening. Shout out Kenny Baby Hands Pickett. It's unfortunate that you did bring that up about the wide receivers not getting open, but the play of the game, I mean, it has to go to George Pickens.
That is not the play of the game.
This is the play of the game.
Stop. Oh,
first of all, this is the play of the game because I had about 5 minutes to find a play of the game from this game right here. So I was able to snag this, and it was the easiest one to get. George Pickens, nasty catch. Told you this guy's going to be a dog. If they get him the ball, he is going to be a dog. Aaron, what was your play of the game then?
Any other play from the Cleveland Browns that was an impactful.
This is the guy who says all the time that the play of the game or the player of the game doesn't necessarily have to be from the winning team. And then I pick the losing team for once, and you get mad at me for it. Unbelievable.
The play of the game has to have an impact on the game. Like, I'm not saying it has to come from but it has to be impactful. That was a catch in the first quarter of nothing.
Well, it led to points. It led to a touchdown from Najee Harris. Okay, it was impactful.
Let me ask you this question and be honest.
No.
If that's any other receiver, if that's Chase Claypool,
No,
if that's Donovan Peoples-Jones, you're picking some other play. You love George Pickens, and I'm sorry that George Pickens that's great. Like, good for him, but come on, man. Like, the first quarter of the game, I mean, it was a nice catch. But what did he do? George Pickens had 3 catches for 39 yards? That was it right there. That was the longest one. He only had 2 other catches for 3 yards. 2 catches for 3 yards after that catch. Think about that. He is irrelevant, and we're over here bragging about him. Stop.
Well,
and he jumped off sides on an onside kick. Stop.
Well. So you see how things work is I plead the fifth because I did pick that because I like George Pickens. So.
I know you did. I ain't stupid. Let's go.
Okay, all right. That does though for our Thursday night recap. The Browns defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers 29-17.